Peace. What's up, everybody? I'd like to introduce myself for the playback. Somebody's going to be watching this later on. So, welcome to the late night tap in. Hello, and welcome to the channel. Let's listen to some music right now as wait for some more people to come in. How y'all doing tonight? What you listen to right now is some music that I made quite a while ago. But thank you guys for tuning in. What's going on with you? Skylar, hello, what's going on? What's my vaccination status? I received vaccines as a child. Uh, as far as what was going on with the vid, I didn't get that. Let's see. Skull 916, what's going on, man? Welcome in. What made you ask about my vaccination status? Alright, so that was just some music that I made. I'd like to play that as people are coming in. Thank you all for tuning in, by the way. I appreciate that. You know, tonight I titled this live Scorpio Revelations. I'm a Scorpio. Thank you for tuning in. You stay blessed as well. So you know, I've been on this journey of making myself better. You know, I want to be the best version of myself that I can. And I got reminded by Brother Panic in the video that he did that I need to pay attention to my spiritual as well as my physical side. Like, okay, I don't know what that said. That was like a different language. Um, but we all get born under some type of zodiac sign. I'm a Scorpio. So all of those positive and negative traits that you hear about Scorpios, I have them. Um, and I also know, thank you. Bless you as well. Hope everything is going good your way. But I also know these aren't set guidelines for yourself. You don't have to be this exact way. You can work past those things, like the positive and negative traits of your sign. It's pointing out things to you, like universal design or God designs of what you can do to better yourself, especially those negative traits. So let me read a few of the weaknesses that they say we have as Scorpios. Let's see: jealousy, possessiveness, secretiveness, manipulation, stubbornness, and overwhelmed by emotions. Now, I can tell you that is very true. These are all things that I have to work on, that I'm working on to make sure I don't, let myself go off on the deep end. So, this idea of jealousy, that's one I think I've conquered, especially now that I have a woman that I know is loyal to me. So I don't really get jealous like that. There's still boundaries that you have to set, but as far as like just being overly jealous, that's not my thing. Allah is the only true God. Allah will guide you. That's inshallah. That's word. There is only one God. We all exist inside of God. Um, but the reason I brought all of this up, like, you were born into a war. All of us born into a war. And that war is designed to stop you from getting to your best self. So one of the things that I had to do, I had to look at these traits that are put online or that's built into the zodiac that's talking about yourself. And I looked at that and I was like, okay, these are things that I have to work on. So one of the things they say is a strength of Scorpios is our loyalty, passion, intuition, determination, resilience, and charisma. Now, that passion thing, that passion can get you into trouble. On the flip side, you tell a woman that you're a Scorpio, that used to bring a lot of attention. Especially when I was in college, it's like, oh, you're a Scorpio. It's like there's like a reputation that we have about ourselves, right? Um, and that reputation is sexual in nature. And one of the things that I had to learn about myself is that sex can be used as a weapon, and it is used as a weapon. And in the form that I'm talking about, I'm going to use the word pornography so it doesn't get flagged by YouTube. I guess that's the thing. But if you're waging war against somebody, you're in a fight against somebody, and they're trying to do their best to stop you from reaching your best self. Well, one of the key things of that is they're not going to tell you they're at war with you. They're going to make it seem like everything is cool. This is all normal. And that's what we find ourselves in right now. The war that's being waged against all of us, it's designed to stop you from getting to your best self. And we learn from Sun Tzu in The Art of War that all warfare is based on deception. So in areas where I'm weak, I'm going to pretend that I'm strong. In areas that I'm strong, I'm going to pretend that I'm weak. So we have a system that's really using the idea of divide and conquer. And one of the ways that they're doing that is by pitting men and women against each other. And they do it in very subtle ways. Um, y'all remember there's a video game that came out called Ghost of Tsushima. It's on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4. Very beautiful game. But the premise is this. So you're in feudal Japan where you have samurais running around. And the samurais have a code of honor. They're only supposed to fight and behave in certain ways. And because of that, the Mongols who come and invade their nation, they can use that against them. So the samurais are like, all right, so you stand and you fight your enemy one on one, right? You face them, no type of sneak attacks. The Mongols are like, nah, like in the opening scene of that game, the samurai send out one of their best warriors to fight against one of their best warriors. Supposed to be like a one-on-one fight. Mongols ain't with that. They wound up setting dude on fire. And the samurai like, oh, they have no honor, and they wound up getting massacred on that beach. All of them die except for one. Now the one who doesn't die, he is the protagonist of the video game. He's who you play as, and he has to put aside what he was taught, what he thought was the honorable way to fight, in order to win that war, or to give themselves a chance. So like sneak attacks, killing your enemy from behind, all these type of things were seen as dishonorable in the samurai way. And I bring that up to say the way that they fight against us now, one of the key ways is to corrupt you morally. They know there are things that they promote as just being harmless. Everybody does it, but it really leads to like the degradation of your society. And one of the ways that they do that is with corn. Corn. I got exposed to it at a very early age. Cinemats. Y'all may not remember Cinemats depending on your age. It's like HBO, but at night they used to put on softcore pornography. She stayed up late enough, you could catch some videos. So I might have been like 7 or 8 when I saw my first film. And it was like, oh wow, this is new. I've never seen a naked woman before. Oh, and she's having sex. So think about the stuff that kids are exposed to right now on the internet. How easy it is to gain access to all of that stuff. Seeing things in a way that's not realistic. Some of it is violent. A lot of it is featuring, I don't know, just some depraved stuff. And you can see how they use that to like make things trendy. And since I don't even know how long it's been. Like I had like a running counter on my phone, but it's been some months since I've looked at porn, right? Uh, and I didn't think of it as being an addiction, but you really find out about that when you try to stop something. So I was like, okay, is this something that has a hold on me, or is this something that I can conquer? And I'm happy to say that it is something that I feel like I've conquered. I saw a stat that says 90% of men watch porn. Think about that, 90% of men. I'm not sure how many women are looking at it. Uh, but just think about what that does. There's some people who watch so much porn to where when they get an actual woman in front of them, they can't perform. They've programmed their minds to where, okay, I can only get sexually excited from watching someone else do this act. Like I have to turn on the computer and turn on the video to see this, or to get myself excited. And that's pretty crazy. And what it does, one of the key things that it does to both sides, but especially to women, it makes the men start to see them as nothing but objects for your sexual gratification. And that's dangerous. There's a conversation where women are talking about the bear and the man. Who would you rather be alone in the forest with? And a lot of women are saying, I'd rather be with the bear. And that's because there's been so much sexual assault. I don't know the stat, but it's either like 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 women have experienced some type of sexual assault. I'm not sure what it is for men, but again, this is what's being promoted, what's being pushed to us. When you get a chance, you should look up who owns a lot of those sites and why they would want to push this on us. And again, it's all about the moral degradation of a society. So that's that warfare. There's many different ways that they come at you. But if they can keep pitting men and women against each other, well, then you're never going to have enough unity. It's going to stop you from being your best self. So take this as a challenge. Like if you are watching it, if that is something that's part of like your routine, take it out for a time period and see how you feel. Because honestly, I get done and I'm sitting there looking as I made a mess. And you feel kind of silly. You be like, you know what? It almost feels like, man, I'm too old to be doing this. Like, I should just go get a woman. I should just go and have actual sex instead of fantasizing and watching somebody else do it. And something else that ruined it for me. And shout out to Phil Valentine. If y'all don't know him, check him out on YouTube. But he said, yo, you're training yourself to be a cuckold. A cuckold is a traditionally was like a man whose wife cheated on him, but now it's turned into this sexual fantasy with guys who get off watching their woman have sex with other men. That's weird to me. Like that's very weird to me. I'm not trying to kink shame, but when you're watching porn, when that is part of your daily routine, depending on what you're watching, I guess, but you're really training yourself to get off watching another man perform. That's a little weird when you stop and think about it. At least that's how I see. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that's normal? I know, and maybe normal is not the right word because there are a lot of things that can become normal based on who's doing it and the amount of people doing it. But yeah, that's just something for us to think about. Being born into the war and the war that's designed to stop you from reaching your full potential. And one of the key ways that they do it is they don't even tell you it is a war. They make you seem like everything is normal. This is how it's supposed to be. So they give us social media where people can pretend to live lifestyles of the rich and famous. So those of us who have 9 to 5 jobs who are trading time for money, we look at that, we like, dang man, I gotta get myself together so I can start living like that. If you think about, there's been a lot of great men who have come throughout history, right? Uh, Two people in particular that come to mind: Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. Now, the FBI was watching both of them, keeping tabs on both of them. And it's like, it's interesting because these two men were like on opposite ends of the spectrum on their viewpoints and how they behaved in public and private. Now, y'all all know that Malcolm X was a by any means necessary type of brother. Uh, Martin Luther King Jr. was on some non-violent type stuff. But one of the key ways the FBI was able to get to Martin and really disturb him was through sexual blackmail. They would send his wife recordings of him having sex with other women. I just got a notification from, that's weird. Something just charged my account that I didn't know was on a subscription, so I'm gonna have to check that out. I didn't ask them to send me any more of it, but we'll see. But the FBI used to send tapes of Martin Luther King Jr. having sex with other women to send that home to his wife, disrupt his home life. Because if he doesn't have a peaceful home, he's not going to be as effective out there as he's fighting for civil rights. They tried to do the same thing to Malcolm X, but they couldn't get any dirt on him because he was living a righteous life. That's something to keep in mind. This idea of sexual blackmail, well, they'll use that against a lot of people. That's what they were doing with Epstein. That's what they were doing allegedly with Diddy. You put videotapes all over your house, you bring in all these famous celebrities, politicians, or whatnot, and you get them in compromising situations. Now, when you need them to do something, you just say, well, hey, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to release this tape. I'm going to leak it to the press. And these guys, these men and women, they have images that they want to uphold. So they go along. So that's another reason why it's good to be sexually disciplined. Don't give in to your lower nature. Because, man, it's easy to get in trouble. It's very hard to get out of it. My mother used to always say that. Trouble is easy to get into. But getting out of it, depending on, the kind of power you have behind you, it's hard to do. And you can save yourself a lot of heartache and trouble by just being in control of yourself. I think about the stress that comes with people who don't have sexual discipline. The guys who have a bunch of kids running around the place, the women who have a bunch of kids by different men, and those men aren't taking care of the children. That's a very stressful lifestyle for that woman to live. Those men who have a bunch of baby mothers because they didn't learn how to discipline themselves sexually. Now you got child support taking money out of your paycheck every time you get paid. So you have guys who will avoid getting jobs or doing work under the table so they don't have to pay their child support. And then if you don't pay that child support, they'll take you to jail. So imagine that. You got a baby by a woman you don't even like. You got to pay child support. And if you don't pay it, they'll take you to jail and make it even harder for you to pay that child support. Because when you get out of jail, you still got to pay child support. It's a game. And it makes the men bitter with the woman. It makes the woman bitter and angry at the men. And it's like a cycle that feeds into each other. I see how the game is played to a certain degree, I guess. I know there's levels to all of this, that there's more to know. But right now, I do understand that we're in a game of divide and conquer. As long as I can keep these fools arguing amongst themselves, well, then y'all not going to have enough sense to pay attention to what I'm doing in the background. They even do it with politics. Like, people really think, let me back up. Did you know, I've said this before, but did you know that all of the presidents are blood related except for one? Now, I'll give you a minute to think about who that one person is. Type it into the chat if you think you know. But ask yourself this question as well as you're thinking about that. Do you think we just coincidentally elected presidents who all happen to be blood related? Or is there something else going on? Now, if you haven't guessed, that person who isn't blood related to the other presidents, you might say is Barack Obama, but that's not true. Barack Obama can trace his bloodline back to a common ancestor along with all the other presidents. It's this idea that presidents are selected, not elected. They give you the illusion of choice. And that one president who isn't blood related to the other ones, his name is Martin Van Buren. He comes from like a Dutch line or something like that. But all the other ones, including Barack, including Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, they are all blood related. They can trace their ancestry back to Charlemagne of England. That's not a coincidence. Divide and conquer. So that's what's been going on. Like, if you pay attention to all the people who are so upset at Trump and what he's doing, crashing the economy, a lot of people thought that, okay, Trump's going to get in here and he's going to do something different. But if you look at who was backing him during his campaign, who he's been advocating for more than just America First, you start to get a picture. And I think seems like they set this whole thing up to be like an alley-oop for him. Like, let's put Joe Biden in there and make him do such a horrible job as president and make it seem like he's going senile, and then we'll put Kamala as the running for him to run against. And again, there was no Democratic primary for them to choose, okay, this is who we want to run against Donald Trump. And again, that's not how that's supposed to work. Excuse me. So it's almost like they went to extremes with like their views in the country the past 4 years just to get the people ready for that pendulum swing in the other direction. And then they give you a candidate who seems like, okay, they're gonna do the things that we've been asking for as a country. But it's a game. It just bounces back and forth, back and forth. Welcome back. Yeah, these all right. You need to send me out a another order of I got some, well, I'll tell y'all about it later, but I didn't realize it was subscription based, so I'm about to go in there and cancel that. Isn't it interesting how that works? They'll set that up so they can keep getting money out you on the low. But I don't like that. That seems deceptive. But maybe that's the name of the game. Deception. So I had something else in my notes. I said, want to talk about Ghost of Tsushima, warfare, a silent war that you were born into, them using sex as a weapon. I guess we can dive into that further in a later video. Excuse me. But you know, this is Ron's Library and Ideas. I always want to put y'all up on new books. One of my favorite things to do is to go into the library and walk around till I find a book that the cover looks interesting, so I read the back jacket and okay, I'm gonna check this out. So the latest book that I'm reading is called Exordia by Seth Dickerson. How to describe it? It's a science fiction novel. This woman is chilling in Central Park, walking through, and she sees like a alien sitting on a rock eating some turtles. But she's the only person that can see the alien. Everybody else is acting like it's normal. So she pulls her phone out and walks up to the alien, like he starts recording her. And the alien looks and says, "Oh snap, you can see me?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then that's how those two make contact. But the main character is a Kurdish woman from Kurdistan who's in America now. When she was 7 years old, I think it was some Iranians or Iraqi soldiers came to her village, rounded everybody up, and they gave her a choice. Like, look, we're going to kill everybody in your village unless you do this. If you shoot one person, we'll save two people. If you shoot two people, we'll save four people. So on and so forth. To finally say, yo, if you kill six people, we'll spare the entire village. Well, 7 years old, what would you do in that situation? The main character in this book, Anna, she kills six people. Her father and her brother among those seven. And the rest of the village gets spared. So imagine what that does to your psyche, having to do something like that as a child. So that's the background that we have on her. And then fast forward 20 years, she meets this alien in the park, and this alien tells her she's a part of a galactic civilization and she's like a rebel. The galactic civilization that she's a part of, they go around conquering different worlds, and they do it by, I guess it's by corrupting their souls. Corrupting their souls in the sense to where like they make it to where you can't stand against them. You can't resist their rule. But it's interesting so far. The author is creative with like the kind of weapons that the aliens have. They have one weapon. It's like some type of machine, but it hunts decisions. So it releases it on a whole field of people. The soldiers raise their rifles to like shoot it. That's a decision. So that's when the machine comes in some kind of way and it folds around the person, scrambles their brain, and that person is just different from then on out. They start seeing things, they go a little crazy. If they have the means to kill the people around them, that's exactly what they're going to do. So you have soldiers who get attacked by this alien weapon, and they have to kill their fellow soldier because he's going crazy trying to kill other people, and attacks you based on making decisions. So when the people in the book see this thing coming, they lie face down on their stomach and try not to think about anything. They try not to make any decisions, which I think is odd because sitting down on the ground and facing the dirt, that's the decision that you made. But anyway, I'm not finished yet. It's Exordia. It's good so far. Very good so far. The I guess I'll do a full review once I'm finished with the book. Another thing that I'm reading right now on my YouTube channel, if you guys want to check it out, is The Way of the Superior Man by David Dita. I'm up to chapter 27 if you guys want to go through and start listening to it. But I know one of the things that we're lacking right now in our society is truly divine masculine men, superior men. And that's on purpose. If you can take out the men, the masculine men in the society, keep them distracted doing other things, then it's easy to conquer a people. Take the men out and the women and the children come next. That's exactly what they've been doing with us. So this book is like an instruction manual on how you can be a superior man in this type of society. It's going to give you tools and tips on how to interact with your woman a whole lot better. A lot of us, a lot of people, they don't have peace at home. Imagine living with a person and you're not at peace with them. It's like stress. And life gives us a lot of different stresses anyway, just naturally. That's a Buddhist tenet that to live is to suffer. So if you come down here, it's going to be some type of suffering. You can't get around it. But there are things that you can do to make sure that suffering isn't long lasting. That you can build a comfortable life, a better life for yourself and your family. That's my goal with this channel. To keep bringing y'all information and insights that I've gotten on how we can better ourselves. That that energy that you feel that'll make you want to go out and watch porn. Learn to channel that into something else. Sexual energy is creative energy. You just have to learn how to channel that into some positive areas. It doesn't have to always be you searching for that release. You can definitely put that in different ways. Like for me, I enjoy creating music. So one of my therapeutic things that I do, I get on GarageBand. I make music. Haven't written in a couple of days now, but even writing, finding some type of creative endeavor, it's going to be good for you. Building something, that's energy, that's creative energy. It doesn't have to be anything big. You can go down to Hobby Lobby, get a model car, anything to put that creative energy to use so you're not using it to degrade yourself. But anyway, it's getting late here, you guys. I appreciate those of you who tuned in and stayed to the end. Now, hello if you're just now tuning in. I guess I'll leave us with some music. And I'm going to go and find something to eat. I'm a little hungry. And again, find some type of creative endeavor for yourself. It's going to be good for you. Make sure you guys check out my channel and check out the videos, the audiobook that I'm putting up, The Way of the Superior Man. Chapters 1 through 27 are available now. If you're a man, you definitely should be listening to this audiobook. If you're a woman, you should be listening as well, so you know how to identify a superior man when you come across one. Share this with the young men in your family. Share the way of the superior man with the older men in your family as well. It's never too late to grow and to improve yourself. But thank you guys for tuning in. It's been another live edition of Ron's Library and Ideas. And I'll see y'all the next time. Let y'all ride out to some music. All right, y'all be easy. Peace.